So there was one other UFC story that I want to talk about before wrapping up on this particular podcast, and this one actually is kind of like an older story. It actually goes all the way back to December. It actually goes all the way back to the Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua fight, if you can think back that long. And so I think probably a lot of people are going to be able to see coming what I'm about to talk about. And it's been talked about a little bit, but there was some thoughts I wanted to add to it. And of course, I'm talking about the altercation between Jack Doherty and former UFC heavyweight champion of the world, Andrei Arlovski. And so I think everybody saw the video. Like, it was crazy to watch. It was Jack Doherty doing the thing that Jack Doherty is famous for. So he's walking around in a VIP area at this fight, and he's doing the thing that he got famous doing. He's bumping into people and trying to cause problems, and he's expecting his huge, gigantic pro boxer bodyguard to come in and save him. And they made the mistake of bumping into Andrei Arlovski. I guess maybe Jack Doherty didn't realize who it was right away, but Jack bumped him. And then a whole bunch of Jack's friends, they came and they tried to jump him, and Arlovski was going to tear them to pieces. And Doherty's bodyguard, this is a very welcome spectacle. Like, he just grabbed Doherty, and he got back and he hid, because I think that he knew exactly who that was. I mean, the guy is, I think I previously called him a pro boxer. I'm not sure if that's true, but I know that he's a trained boxer. So there's a very high probability that a guy who's a trained boxer knows who the former UFC heavyweight champion of the world is. So I think that he knew that Andrei Arlovski was somebody that he didn't want to play with. So he grabbed his client and kind of hid him away. And some other people had to intervene to save Doherty's little shithead friends from also being just destroyed. But it was a little bit of a controversy, and there was a suggestion that Andrei Arlovski was going to get into a pro fight with Doherty's bodyguard. Now, I know that Arlovski said that he was interested in it. I don't remember hearing anything specific about a response from Doherty's bodyguard. But I did see a video that Doherty himself posted, and he just basically said that he was excited for it, and he was going to make sure that it happened, and he was going to be the organizer and the promoter, and he was going to make all the money. These other two guys were going to fight, and Jack Doherty was going to make all of the money. If you're at all familiar with any of the drama surrounding Jack Doherty of late, the talk is that basically Jack Doherty he's starting to run short of money. His internet grift is just it's not what it used to be. His clout isn't what it used to be, and his OnlyFans apparently is starting to draw some real heat, and it's starting to run out of money on that front also. So the word is that, like, Jack Doherty, he's getting pretty desperate, and particularly after some of the bans that he took after wrecking that car. When he wrecked that, what was it, a Maserati? Big, expensive sports car, supercar, whatever you want to call these things. He wrecked it on the freeway. Sounds like probably the insurance company wasn't going to pay for it because he was fucking streaming while he was driving the car in the rain. The doofus. But long story short, just, from the sounds of it, he is very desperate for money. And so now he figures that maybe he was figuring, at least for a little while, that this idea of having an Arlovski versus his bodyguard fight was going to be the thing that was going to save him financially. And that kind of got me thinking that as much as I would like to see Jack Doherty's bodyguard take a beating, like basically take the beating that Jack Doherty has deserved every single time that he's gone out of his way to try to start these problems, I don't think that he should do it. I don't think that he should do it. I don't think that Arlovski should do it. I think that they should just both take a step back and just be like, no, we're not going to do it. Just specifically so that they can guarantee that Jack Doherty is not going to make any money off of this situation. Because in my opinion, I think that is actually the worst possible outcome. As much as it would be, I mean, on one hand, it would be pretty cool, if they could work something out where it's like, his bodyguard fights Arlovski, and then if Arlovski wins, then he gets Jack Doherty in power slap. Now, I hate power slap. I despise power slap. I think it is the stupidest goddamn thing that I've ever seen, and it is definitely not a sport. Dana White loves it for some reason. I've got no idea why, but for some reason, Dana White just loves it. But the whole idea of, Jack Doherty having to stand there with his hands behind his back and take a slap in the face from the former UFC heavyweight champion of the world, that is a pretty entertaining image in my mind. But then who how do you who knows? He probably figures out some way to make money off of the fight with Arlovski and his bodyguard. And then he probably tries to figure out some way to make money off of getting knocked out in power slap. And I think that the one thing that I think that we should all be able to agree on at this point, the one thing that we absolutely do not want to ever see is we don't want to see Jack Doherty make a single red cent, probably for the rest of it, close to for the rest of his life. I don't know, maybe at some point he can just he can get a job putting the fries in the bag. At some point, down the road, after he is sufficiently humbled. But I think right now, I would say probably close to about 95% of all people probably don't want Jack Doherty to make any money. And so, definitely do not want Jack Doherty to be making any money off of a fight. So for that reason alone, to me, it was a very tempting prospect. I think it would have been pretty cool to see that guy get knocked out, that bodyguard get knocked out. So I guarantee you he wouldn't have stood a chance. But I think that in the long story short, I think that for the betterment pretty much of all humankind, it shouldn't happen.